My boss learned about my 12-year marriage ending through a WhatsApp message. Your wife is cheating on you. Everyone in the office knows, but you don't, it read. The moment I read that message, I smiled because I actually knew something they didn't, and that knowledge was about to change their lives completely. My name is Marcus Thompson. I'm 44 years old, and I'm a senior project manager at TechVantage Solutions, a major technology firm in Chicago. I've been married to Jessica for 12 years. I received that WhatsApp message on a Tuesday during lunch break, sitting quietly in the office, eating my sandwich. The message was from Robert Harrison, our company's human resources manager. Robert and I had been working together for 8 years, and under normal circumstances, he would never get involved in such personal matters. But this time was different. Marcus, I have to tell you this. This is very difficult, but your wife Jessica is having an affair with our marketing manager, Kevin Stevens. Everyone in the office has noticed, but no one has been able to tell you. I couldn't stand it anymore. I didn't need to read the rest of the message. I put the phone down on the table and took a deep breath. My colleagues around me continued their normal day, unaware of what I was feeling at that moment. I knew Robert felt sorry for me. Everyone knew except me, supposedly. At least that's what they thought. But the truth was, I had known everything for 6 months. I just hadn't told anyone. Jessica's behavior had started changing 8 months ago. Coming home late, constant phone messages, sudden urgent business meetings on weekends. At first, I didn't suspect anything because Jessica was indeed a very hardworking person. But then small details started catching my attention. Her new perfume. Dressing more carefully. Always keeping her phone face down. And most importantly, our physical intimacy had almost completely stopped. I'm going through a very stressful period, she would constantly say. The moment I learned the truth was 6 months ago. On a Saturday, I went to her office to surprise her with flowers. She had said, I have a meeting at the office today. But when the elevator doors opened, I saw her in Kevin's arms. They were kissing in the conference room, visible through the glass. At that moment, I thought I was going to have a heart attack. But the elevator doors closed and I went down as if nothing had happened. I threw the flowers in the trash and went home. When Jessica came home that evening, I asked, how did the meeting go? Very tiring but productive, she said, looking me straight in the eye. Everything changed after that night. But my change wasn't the kind Jessica expected. I didn't cry, didn't shout, didn't question. Instead, I quietly started investigating. First, I hired a private detective, Marcus Wright, one of Chicago's best surveillance specialists. 2 weeks later, I had all the evidence in my hands. Photos, video recordings, even audio recordings. Jessica and Kevin's room they rented at the Hyatt Regency, every Tuesday and Thursday during lunch break. But the real bomb exploded elsewhere. During my investigations, I also started gathering information about the company Jessica worked for. Creative Solutions, Inc., a medium-sized firm operating in marketing and advertising in downtown Chicago. Jessica worked there as an account manager. It was at this point that I discovered something surprising while going through files related to my father's inheritance from 8 years ago. My father had made various investments in different companies before he died, and one of them was Creative Solutions, Inc. I owned 35% of the company's shares. For 8 years, Jessica had been working at this company and had never asked who the owner was. I didn't feel the need to mention it either because I was a passive investor, but now I decided to become active. After that lunch break, I went straight to Robert's office. I knocked on the door and went in. Robert was looking at his computer screen, obviously curious about the reaction I would have. Thank you for your message, Robert, I said calmly. Actually, I had been sensing some things lately too. Robert was surprised. He obviously expected me to cry, scream, or trash the office. But I just calmly sat down in the chair across from him. Marcus, I'm really sorry. How do you want to handle this situation? If you want, I can talk to Kevin. This situation is not appropriate in the company. Robert, I interrupted him, smiling. Do you know who owns Creative Solutions, Inc., where Jessica works? Of course I know. They're one of our main clients. Why do you ask? Because I'm one of that company's largest shareholders, with a 35% stake. Robert's coffee cup almost fell from his hand. His eyes widened. What do you mean, Marcus? Tomorrow, Creative Solutions has a board meeting, and I'll be at that meeting. I've decided to take an active role for the first time. Jessica and Kevin's professional relationship will end tomorrow. Of course, if you'll help me with a small favor. Robert was still in shock. Marcus, this is a very big step. Are you sure? I've been thinking about it for 6 months, Robert. And yes, I'm very sure. Kevin's visit to Creative Solutions tomorrow should be canceled. There's a conflict of interest according to company policy. The next morning, my plan started working perfectly. Jessica left home as usual saying, I have an important project meeting at Creative Solutions today, I'll be late. I said, okay, honey, good luck. As if I knew nothing. At 9 a.m., I went to Creative Solutions' office on Michigan Avenue. Jessica had never seen me there because I had always remained a silent partner. The receptionist Jennifer knew me. Mr. Thompson. It's been such a long time. Are you here for the board meeting? Yes, Jennifer. I'll be participating actively for the first time. I took the elevator to the third floor. As I walked towards the meeting room, I heard Jessica's voice in the corridor. She was preparing a presentation with Kevin. Their closeness was very obvious from their voices. Through this project, we'll strengthen our relationship with TechVantage even more, Jessica was saying. Kevin's department is giving full support, and Marcus has no idea, Kevin replied with a laugh. He just deals with technical stuff, doesn't see the big picture. They both laughed. At that moment, I heard Jessica say, "Poor Marcus." Those words were the final straw. I entered the meeting room. Jessica and Kevin were standing together at the projector. When Jessica saw me, she froze. Her face went white as a sheet. "Marcus?"
What? What are you doing here? Good morning, Jessica. Good morning, Kevin. I said calmly. I came to participate in the board meeting because I'm one of this company's largest shareholders.
The files in Kevin's hand fell to the floor. Jessica's mouth hung open. They were both looking at me as if they had seen a ghost. How is this possible? Jessica stammered. I've owned 35% of this company's shares for 8 years. An investment made with my father's inheritance. You never wondered who you were working for. I didn't feel the need to mention it either. Until now, other board members started entering the room. CEO Patricia Williams, CFO James Parker, and 2 other partners. They were all surprised to see me because I was attending a meeting for the first time. "Marcus," said Patricia, "what a wonderful surprise. You finally decided to join us." "Yes, Patricia. I want to take a more active role now, especially regarding personnel policies and ethical rules." When the meeting started, I sat at the head of the table with the other partners. Jessica and Kevin were standing in the corner having prepared for their presentation. But I changed the first item on the agenda. "I'm sorry," I said, taking the floor at the meeting, "but we need to discuss an urgent matter first. We need to review whether our company is compliant with ethical rules." Patricia looked curiously. "What kind of ethical issue, Marcus?" "Personal relationships with our business partners. Specifically, I've learned that Kevin Stevens from TechVantage Solutions has a personal relationship with our employee Jessica Thompson. This situation creates a conflict of interest." Jessica looked like she was about to collapse into her chair at that moment. Kevin was trying to say something but couldn't get his voice out. Moreover, I continued calmly. "This relationship is being conducted during company hours in company buildings. I have the necessary evidence." I put the folder on the table. Inside were all the photos Marcus had collected, with date and timestamps. Patricia opened the folder and started examining it. Her facial expression gradually hardened. "Jessica," she finally said, "would you like to comment on these allegations?" Jessica was trembling. "Patricia, I'm sorry, Jessica," Patricia said decisively. "But our company policies are very clear. These types of relationships are unacceptable, especially with our business partners. I accept your resignation." Kevin tried to intervene. "Wait, isn't this personal revenge? Marcus is using personal reasons to—" "Kevin," I interrupted him. "This is a completely professional decision. Just like you said, your relationship was completely professional. Just business, right?" James Parker, the CFO, stepped in. "Marcus is right. This situation also puts our company at legal risk. Both Jessica's position should be terminated, and our agreement with TechVantage should be reviewed." The meeting ended in 20 minutes. Jessica was fired. Kevin's company's agreement was suspended. Patricia said to me, "David, thank you for being so careful." After the meeting, Jessica and Kevin were waiting for me in the corridor. Jessica was crying. "Marcus, what does this mean? How did—" "Jessica," I said calmly, "I've been a partner in this company for 8 years. You've been cheating on me for 6 months. Which one of us behaved more honestly?" Kevin angrily intervened. "This is personal revenge. You had your wife followed." "No, Kevin," I said smiling. "This is just business, just like you said. Besides, Jessica is no longer my wife. The divorce case is being filed tomorrow." Jessica's eyes widened. "Divorce? I've been preparing for 6 months, Jessica. While you were making plans for your new life, I was making my own plans. The difference is, my plan was better." That evening when I got home, Jessica was there. Her eyes were red. She had been crying for hours. She was waiting for me in the living room. "Marcus, we need to talk," she said in a shaky voice. "There's nothing to talk about, Jessica," I said calmly. "You made your choice. I made my own choice. You both lost your jobs. Kevin's company will also be in a difficult situation." How long have you known?" "For 6 months. Hyatt Regency, room 412. Every Tuesday and Thursday during lunch break. Quite a predictable routine." Jessica put her head in her hands. "Marcus, I made a huge mistake. Can you forgive me?" "Jessica," I said calmly, "cheating wasn't just sleeping with Kevin. Lying to my face every day was also cheating. Saying I'll be late, I have a meeting, was also cheating. Talking about me as poor Marcus behind my back was also cheating." Jessica was surprised. How did you hear that conversation? I heard your conversation with Kevin this morning. Poor Marcus, he doesn't see the big picture. You were right. I really wasn't seeing the big picture, but now I do. 3 weeks later, the divorce case began. The evidence of adultery was so clear that even Jessica's lawyer gave up. The house was in my name. The retirement accounts were in my name. And the company shares were already hidden. Jessica got nothing. Kevin was also fired from TechVantage. Robert called me to explain the situation. For ethical violation. The technology sector in Chicago is a very small world. Everyone had heard the news. Kevin was having trouble finding work. He eventually had to move to Denver. 6 months later, Jessica also left Chicago. She had found a job at a small agency in Phoenix, at minimum wage. According to what I heard from Patricia, no major company wanted to hire her. She had been branded as unreliable. Robert still works at the company and has become one of my closest friends since that day. Do you ever regret it, Marcus? He asked one day during lunch. No, Robert, I said. I just waited for the right time. Jessica made me look like a fool for 6 months. I showed her what real foolishness was for 6 months. Sometimes staying quiet is much more effective than shouting. So what will you do now? He asked. I'll focus on growing creative solutions. I'm an active partner now. Patricia and I are planning to make the company one of Chicago's largest marketing agencies. Isn't it ironic? Jessica's downfall brought a new beginning to the company. Today, 1 year later, I'm building a new life. As a 44-year-old man who is free and knows his own worth, I bought a new house with a Lake Michigan view. I made new friends. I even met Patricia's daughter, Lisa. It's still early but promising. What Jessica did to me was a big lesson. When trust is lost, the greatest revenge is being patient. Rushing means making mistakes. But waiting patiently allows for perfect timing. Creative Solutions is now one of Chicago's fastest-growing marketing agencies. We have a team of 45 people, and most importantly, we only work with honest, talented people, not with those who have hidden agendas. Robert gave me interesting news last week. He heard that Kevin and Jessica were trying to get back together in Denver, but Kevin's new job didn't last very long either. When the company learned about his past, they decided to part ways for team compatibility reasons. You know, Marcus, Robert said, sometimes bad people bring their own end. You just toppled the first domino. He was right. I had only revealed the truth. The rest came naturally. One final note, Creative Solutions' new slogan is trust, integrity, results. These 3 words apply both in business and personal life. Jessica and Kevin had none of these. I had all of them. The result is obvious. Sometimes the greatest revenge in life is allowing the other party to underestimate you. Because when you show your real power, you make the most effective strike when they least expect it. And the best part is you do it with their own rules. Just business, right?